Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. We've got a short video today on a technical matter that's intrigued me for a long time. Not that I particularly didn't know what to expect, but I just wanted to get an actual quantity for it, and also to kind of prove it to myself. Same day, same air conditions, same weather, same temperature, same wind, everything like that. And I wanted to look at the velocity difference from 3 CZ rifle barrels. Now, this is not about group shooting, because quite frankly today it was windy anyway and there was no chance I was going to produce anything good on paper. But don't forget, all of these rifles have been individually reviewed anyway on my channel. There's a huge CZ457 playlist as well, so please engross yourself in that if you want to learn the details about the individual rifles. I have actually shot the 16-inch synthetic and the 20-inch LRP against each other, but the LRP is now modified and that's got an MDT XR chassis on it, and then this is the latest one that's just arrived. This is a 457 MDT ACC, and the main reason I wanted to use these quickly while I had the chance is that that's a 16-inch barrel, that's a 20-inch barrel, and this is a 24-inch barrel. Now, shooting these independently, I am aware of the different factors of shooting them. They handle differently. We've got different optics on them, different stocks. There's a huge array of difference between the way the guns shoot in terms of their physical handling dynamic. This one's incredibly heavy. It's also extremely long in the stock. It's very stable to shoot from the bipod. The LRP is somewhere in the middle of that, and then of course we've got the short line one, which I can pick up with one hand there, and this one is a bit of a tank to pick up in comparison. So anyway, watch the full videos if you want. That's what those are about. This is purely about the difference in velocity. So basically, I went up to the farm today and I sat myself at the bench. I got 3 rifles, 3 different types of ammunition, and shot a load of ammunition in front of the FX True Ballistic chronograph to produce a load of data, which I'll put on screen for you. So 16-inch, 20-inch, 24-inch. Essentially, what is the difference in terms of the true real world velocity? Well, if we look at the different ammunition types first, I'm going to talk about the SK Standard Plus first. Now, I use this a lot. I have done for the last 4 or 5 years. I've had some awesome success with it. Now, I have made videos as well on the fact that sometimes you get crackers with rimfires. It's not because the bullets themselves are going at different speeds, it's because the speed of sound is changing, because it's relative to air temperature. And of course, warmer day like today, it's been 15 degrees today and windy, and the air temperature gives us a speed of sound in that air temperature of 1115 feet per second. So if we're well below that, we're not going to have any supersonic incidents, no crackers. But what the point is the fact that you've got an extreme spread on your ammunition. So you've got a low and high velocity. So if I start quoting some numbers to you now, which I'll put on screen up here, and you can see those, and I'll put them back and forward as time goes along. But for example, if I take the SK Standard Plus ammunition and look on my sheet here, I shot that in the 16-inch barrel, boom, 1,085 feet per second. In the 20-inch barrel, 1,099 feet per second, and in the 24-inch barrel, 1,070 feet per second. And that was the average taken over a 20-shot string. Now, I did 20-shot strings with that one purely because I had a lot of that ammunition. I didn't really want to waste too much of the others. Now, between the fastest, which is the 20-inch barrel LRP at 1,099, and the slowest, which is actually the 24-inch MDT ACC, we've got a 29 foot per second loss over 8 inches of barrel. Now, if we look at the actual statistics for this ammunition, the SK Standard Plus, 1,085 feet per second, 1,099 feet per second, 1,070 feet per second. So actually, there's only 29 feet per second difference between the fastest and the slowest. That doesn't sound very much for 8 inches of barrel length, because that's not even the slowest one, even though it's got the shortest barrel. But interestingly, the extreme spread for that ammunition type, which we've got in the chart here, is 51 feet per second on the LRP. Now that 51 feet per second will take us well above and well below the 1115 foot per second speed of sound in today's air temperature, which is why this one gave quite a lot of crackers. But it wasn't actually the loudest ammunition. Now if we compare that against the RWS Match, which is this one, speed on the RWS Match, we've got 1118 feet per second was the fastest, again through the intermediate 20-inch barrel. The longer barrel was a tiny bit quicker at 1082 feet per second, and the shorter barrel was 1075 feet per second. So you can tell there's a little bit of difference again, but not massive amounts. And the extreme spread on that ammunition on the RWS Match was 52 feet per second in the short barrel, 22 in the long barrel, and 23 in the intermediate barrel. So you might say the RWS Match is loaded a bit more consistently. But the point we're trying to get here is it's not just about longer barrels generating more speed, because actually the shorter 20-inch barrel generated more speed with the ammunition. That is because there's only enough powder in it to keep that bullet driven for that much barrel. When you're going beyond that, you've got, you know, it's burning all the way here, then it starts thinking, I've run out of powder now. So actually that barrel is causing a drag factor on it and actually slowing it down slightly. Conversely, on the short barrel, you're actually blasting a little bit of powder out of the end, you know, just slightly unburnt. But different ammunition will give you different things like that. Now, I also use some RWS Subsonic. I took this specifically because it's a known slow ammunition type, and if I look at the data on that, I've got 963 feet per second, 1004 and 970. Now, that was notably quiet, because it always is, it's always subsonic, it's well subsonic. But you'll notice on the video you can hear more crackers off the LRP than you can off the long barrel, because the long barrel's also not allowing any of the muzzle blast, even whether you're burning or not, it's not allowing the muzzle blast to boom out, and they've all got the same SAC sound moderator on them. So it's really interesting to have done this, because actually in the real world the velocity difference between short barrels and long barrels is not enough to really bother me that much in terms of the accuracy and the precision. But where it does bother me is when I'm shooting longer distances, and there is a significant shift in velocity, and there is also a significant extreme spread, especially 51 feet per second on the SK Standard Plus is not great when you're talking about, you know, shooting longer ranges, because you're going to get more or less drop regardless of anything else. Now, when I shot the LRP in its original stock versus the 16-inch, the 16-inch synthetic beat it in terms of precision for every type of ammunition I shot through them. Why is that? Well, that video lists all the relative velocities and things like that as well. Why is that? Well, I personally think that's because this one is driving it too close to the supersonic sound barrier, and of course you're in those transonic flight envelopes, which is not ideal in my opinion. And of course a lot of people are going to want to say, well, I'll shoot supersonic ammunition, want to shoot the fastest possible is. These two have both got matched chamber as well, so you can't always put the heavy supersonic ammunition in them. Some match ammunition is quicker than others though, things like 10X or Lapua. You've got Midas, which is about 1100 feet per second anyway, so that's generally keeping you more consistent at that sort of rate. But just bear in mind these factors, that depending on your rifle and how you shoot, what ammunition you want, what you want it for, it's well worth experimenting with all these things, because it's not just as simple as, oh, I want fastest ammunition possible, slowest ammunition possible. I would say you actually want the ammunition that scales best to the barrel length you have got. So I kind of like everything through the short 16-inch barrel, because I stay subsonic with pretty much everything that should have been subsonic. The only thing is I get a little bit more muzzle report from it, even with the sound moderator, but I don't have the problems with any transonic things like that. Very quiet rifle, because you're not really getting any muzzle blast from it either, and that is regardless of the fact that all three do have sound moderators on. If we took the sound moderators off, they would all still, three of them, be the scale to the same effect, because they are all identical sound moderators. Now, have I covered everything I want to cover? Well, not exactly, because one of the reasons I love shooting 2-2 rimfire is I like it to be quiet. I don't like cracks, I don't like noise reverberating around the farms, this, that and the other. And it strangely brings me all the way back to the 16-inch synthetic, because I don't get that big supersonic crack from anything. Of course, I could use supersonic ammunition if I wanted to, but I don't. Interestingly, in this one, because it's got a standard under match chamber, I could probably run things like CCI Stingers in it if I wanted to. But again, with 2-2 rimfire, I don't think the answer is velocity. The answer is consistency. And again, I would come back to the fact that I would pick my ammo on the one that seems to be giving me the optimum balance between the speed it's getting and whether it's burning all the powder or whether the powder is all burnt. And to be quite honest, in that one I'll pretty much shoot anything. In this one, I'd actually want something that's maybe 50 to 75 feet per second slower than any of these are coming out of the gun, because it's giving me those crackers. This one doesn't seem to really matter because it's keeping the muzzle report down, and it's also slowing the bullets down slightly. I think maybe a 22-inch barrel would perhaps give me the absolute optimum speed and balance, but that's technically slowing these ones down slightly. But anyway, it was more of a fun day out for me just to do something a little bit different. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. There are many, many, many factors that haven't been really considered and tested in depth because there's so many variables involved. But essentially, it's just something I wanted to do. I actually own those two. I don't own this one. And to be quite honest, I sort of prefer that one over everything because I like the lightweight, because I like that thing about 2-2 rimfire. But that's just me, and that's just particular because I go out and I plink with 2-2 rimfire. I'm not hugely into shooting super long range and things like that, although I can and I do, and I'm certainly not a PRS shooter. But in terms of the handling for precision, I actually like that one the most. But if I was having that stock, I think actually probably I might as well have this barrel. So we actually take the stock from that one, the barrel from this one, but that one can go on its own because that one's just brilliant in its own right for doing its own thing, and that's the best one for hunting, plinking, everything, and it's also the least expensive. But I do like the fact that you've got that choice in the CZ457 range. And remember, it's not about which is the most accurate, because so many people ask that question. They just want to see little tiny small groups shot on paper. And I'll tell you now, I could have gone out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when there was no wind, shot tiny little groups, and you go, oh wow, that's the most accurate in the world. And because the wind comes up and that's all just gone. So it comes back to then, do you want the rifle that's got the handling characteristics you want? Has it got the ballistics that you want? So please click on the link, because there is a playlist on my channel for all the CZ457 videos I have made, and there are a lot of them. I can't even think. You've got synthetic, you've got heavy barrel, light barrel, you've got long barrels, short barrels, you've got the fluted LRP, you've got the LRP in its original stock, new MDT, you've got the MDT, the short MDT version, you've got the thumbhole laminate version, you've got the @1, there's just loads of them, and I think there's a few more to come yet. There's a range version with the laminate stock from the CZ600 centerfire, going to be put in the 457, which will be another review to do. And there's also the Ergo, which is a light synthetic stock. Again, that's been reviewed on one of the CZ600 centerfires, and we can see that when it comes to the rimfire. But essentially, the thing to remember is that these have all got the same action. The barrels vary, the stocks vary. And I kind of love them all for their own reasons and their own thing each day. But I'm a sucker for that one, mate, because I just like the simplicity and the purity of it. So anyway, there you go. You can see the data on screen I've developed today. We've got muzzle velocity, we've got extreme spread, we've got standard deviation. And it's very clear when you actually look at the data that standard deviation can be very, very low, especially in the 16-inch barrel with the SK Standard Plus. But that's what I like shooting anyway. Why is that? It's funny that, isn't it? Because I just shoot that all the time. And you put that same ammunition in this rifle, you get massive shot-to-shot variation. You've got 51 foot per second extreme spread. So yes, look at that data carefully. Think about it, because there is no such thing as a better or a worse rifle from the CZ457 range. They are all different. So start to think about why the reasons are they are different. Right. I hope you've enjoyed watching that little video. Hopefully today I have hit 40,000 subscribers to my channel. So thank you all very much for subscribing to my channel and keeping with me for some of my more serious videos, and some like today my little more light-hearted personal interest videos. I would like to thank my long-term sponsors whose logos you will see on this video, particularly Hornady, WMS Firearms Training, Military First for all their clothing. You've got the British Shooting Show, you've got Wiley X, you've got the glasses, you've got all the trousers and the t-shirts and things like that from Helicon. All these people are heavily involved, but Hornady, above all else, to supply all the ammunition for the centerfire testing. And I've got a lot of SK ammunition that comes from Viking Arms for the rimfire testing. I'd like to thank Hands Reloading for Birchwood KC targets, Birchwood KC steel gongs, various other MTM supplies as well. There are also a few people who are constantly behind the scenes, Dave, Chris, Howard, always helping me out, getting out there shooting with me. We have a great time when we're testing, reviewing guns, and it keeps the joy still in shooting for me. Right, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads, because there are now nearly 800 videos for you 40,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.